What is happening, everyone? Welcome to GBALL Vision. We are back at it again, going over some knives that you may have forgot existed. We're going to kick it off with the Concept Main Street. This is the original, the full-size version, coming in a liner lock. They also make a mini and a new version with a crossbar lock. This is a fantastic EDC knife and work knife, that beautiful Wharncliffe blade. They come in 154 cm for the blade steel. They have tons of different flavors and styles, coated, uncoated, G10, micarta, carbon fiber, all kinds of different flavors. Dual thumb studs for the deployment, very well placed, very comfortable to open and close this bad boy. They give you plenty of access with a chamfer on that liner, G10 handles, and they offer a titanium pocket clip on these guys. This is a fantastic, affordable EDC and work knife. Concept Main Street. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. This next one kind of reinstalled the faith in this company. This is the SOG Terminus XR. This is just the basic version of this knife, but comes in around 50 bucks typically. You can get them a little cheaper sometimes. It's coming with D2 steel. They do cryo treat it. Nice tumbled finish, dual thumb studs, and a rear flipper tab for deployment. And then it's using a crossbar lock, which SOG calls the XR lock. And guys, it's one of the best. These tabs are so comfortable to disengage. It's so intuitive to disengage it, and the action is very, very well done from SOG on these. This is a nice little EDC and work knife. Could be kind of tactical in a sense as well. You do have a nice drop point blade, nice little swedge here, flat here. For around the $45 to $55 mark, this is a fantastic little EDC knife. G10 handles, deep carry, reversible clip for our lefty brothers out there. You know, if you're looking for an affordable yet fidgety, fun, well done EDC knife, the SOG Terminus XR is fantastic, and I hope SOG is able to continue doing what they did with this one and a few other models a year or so ago, and continue putting some decent models out there, because this is very well done for the money. And I know they have a couple other ones as well using the XR lock that are very well done. Let's go ahead and we'll get to the next one. Next up, we have the Kuby KU 122. This kind of has always reminded me of a Spyderco in a sense. It's mainly the blade. It's got this leaf-shaped style blade, but this thing is nice and thin, nice and slicey, very pokey because of how well that drops, how low that drops. You have a slight bit of belly, but a considerably nice usable edge there. Coming in D2 steel. They do offer some newer versions now, I believe coming in 14C 28N. You do have a nice opening hole for the thumb and reverse flick. I often enjoyed, when I first got this one, carrying and using this, because it's very, very formidable for an EDC knife. You have some nice jimping here, little thumb ramp. It's just perfect to lock in. And the way this is designed, you can get right up on that tip for some precision cuts if need be. Great access with a set of jimping there on the liner. Detent is tuned very nicely. Comes in a variety of different handle materials and now blade steels as well. Deep carry clip. It's going to be reversible as well. the detent and the action are very good. For such a thin, smaller blade, it's very good from Kuby. They kind of not disappeared this year, but they didn't come with quite the firepower that I hoped they would. Coming from 2022 into this year, they kind of almost took a step back in a sense. But, you know, maybe they'll come hitting on all cylinders next year or at the end of this year. But Kuby, you know, for the money, they do a fantastic job. And if you're looking for something that kind of, you know, is Spyderco-esque, but you don't want to drop that kind of money on a Spyderco, the Kuby KU 122 is a very, very well-rounded EDC knife, especially for the money. I think these can routinely be had under 50 bucks, probably more like 40-ish, I want to say. Definitely a fantastic little EDC knife that should not be forgotten about. Let's go ahead and we'll get to the next one. Next up, we got another oldie but a goodie, the Saivi McKenna, coming in that all brass handle finish. Nice backspacer, nice long and thin sheep's foot style of blade. Now this is going to be a front flipper only, but boy is the detent tuned beautifully, and the way this is designed, it works every time. Very good, very snappy. This is a fantastic little knife. It is an Isham design. He has since moved on to better and bigger things, but his designs live on, and they are still fantastic. Very unique designs as well. This is a knife I've really taken care of, you know, since what happened with Isham. I've wanted to take good care of it, but nice liner lock there with some jimping on that bad boy. Deep carry clip, you will have a little bit sticking out there, and another thin, light, slicey blade that just has incredibly good action. The detent tuned perfect. Like I said, this bad boy will drop to your nail, and then you just give it a little something and it will go home. Definitely one of my favorite front flippers. It is so snappy. Very well done from Saivi and Isham. Let's go ahead and we'll get to the next one. This next one, we're going to be either talking this one or the large one. I have the large one somewhere. I think my fiance actually has it right now. But the CJRB Mia, or the CJRB Mia, I think is what they call it, is a fantastic, this one in particular, a fantastic fifth pocket knife, utility style knife. You have RPM 9 on the blade steel, nice tumbled finish, nice sheep's foot blade, pretty thin blade stock, and it comes down pretty nice and thin as well. Nice pokey tip for the most part, little swedge going to the tip, gonna give that some extra strength there. I'm a huge fan of this knife. You know, I can only get about 2.5, maybe 3 fingers on this thing. It's not for heavy duty use though. This is for, you know, utility style cuts and lighter duty work. You do have dual thumb studs and a front flipper tab. Both work very well. This is also a very snappy knife. Now the bigger one is definitely a lot easier to fidget with, but even though this is smaller, you know, once you get used to it, it is a great knife, and it's a nice knife to have, you know, if you want to go very small or go very minimal or something of that nature, lightweight, small, minimal. This is a nice little package right here to take with you that doesn't cost a ton of money. You have this big swell here, so it kind of fills up the hand. Deep carry clip there. It's going to be reversible. Great access to the liner with a chamfer. This is a Swags design, and she does a great job with her designs. I have several of them, and this is just a fantastic little 5th pocket knife. And, you know, these were, I wouldn't say all the rage, but these were definitely getting raged about when these came around, and everybody yelled about needing a bigger one, and then they came out, and then the rage dies. You know, we talk about that. We've talked about that before. You know, knives get all kinds of hype these days, and it could be for just the day that it's released and maybe the next day, and then they kind of just fade off. It could last a couple weeks. It could last a couple months, but eventually it always fades away. The knife always fades away. It doesn't matter how good the knife is. Eventually, it gets looked over. It gets passed by. It doesn't get talked about. And that is the reason for these videos. Bringing knives back to the forefront that you may have forgotten about, that you may not even have known existed, especially if you're newer to the knife world. You know, a lot of these knives you may not even know exist. So that is the whole point of these videos. Let's go ahead and we'll get to the next one. This next one is a fantastic EDC knife. This is the Reich P865, coming in that beautiful 14C 28N. You have this nice Wharncliffe-esque blade. It is a single stud for deployment, but it's done very well, placed very well, and the action is ultra snappy on this guy. Very hydraulic close, very snappy, guys, very snappy. You know, I don't know if they could have designed this in such a way that they could have done another stud or added another opening method, whether it be a front flipper or a rear flipper. But had they added a rear flipper, you couldn't choke up like you can, and that's, you know, one of the many reasons that this knife is great. G10 handles, deep carry pocket clip, nothing's recessed, but you have plenty of room in there to get it in most pants pockets. You have good access with a chamfer and some jimping, and it's very easy to disengage. It's very comfortable, and like I said, the action is very hydraulic, and you can get these usually for under 50 bucks. And for G10 14C, a good build. You know, this is a good EDC knife, a good user knife, good for work. You know, you wouldn't want to go jamming this into a cinder block and trying to pry it apart or something like that. But for day-to-day uses and utility type tasks, this thing is going to perform awesome for you. This has been one of my favorite budget knives for a long time. You know, it's in the category of some of my favorite budget knives of all time, and this one continues to stick around. Nice neutral handle. That'll wrap this one up, guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on your way out, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what knives you'd like to see next on this list if you do. And if you're new to the channel or you've been here before and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below the video. I'd love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.